Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Disruption Talks, where we invite top experts to discuss digital acceleration, winning strategies, innovation, and scaling products. I am Radek Shaya, Engineering Director at NetGuru, and I'm glad to host today Dinesh Deva, VP of Product and Engineering for AdTech and MarTech at Zalando. Welcome, Dinesh. Hi.
Hello, Radek. How are you doing today?
Super great, actually. Very nice day for me. How's your day?
Been great. Weather's great.
Great, super. So I'm very curious. I like to ask this question at the very beginning of every conversation I have. And how do you use ChatGPT? And if you use ChatGPT at all at your work, can you share some very interesting, maybe innovative kind of use cases for ChatGPT?
Uh, uh, Good question. This is what I get asked regardless of who I speak to, not even people in the tech field. So anyway, coming to the
Hmm.
question, right? Yes, I do use it, but not as much as some of the others.
Okay.
I use it to improve my understanding of a concept. Now, I think it is incredibly useful for doing background research. If I want to study about deeply about a concept, like I'll give you an example. If I want to build like a churn prediction model and like a customer churn prediction model, and like instead of bouncing around the web and how people do it, I ask ChatGPT, and it provides me with a broad response which helps me in framing the problem. Now, is it good enough for me to go ahead and build the churn model? Probably not. But
Hmm.
it ensures that I don't miss out of any basic considerations. And
Hmm.
and recently I'm using Google's Bard as well. And in addition to what ChatGPT provides, I can also get references to the latest research in this, like including citations and academic publications on this area, and it provides me. So I think it's an incredible way to do research.
Yeah, exactly. I have like very similar use case. I wanted to like name it learning process because it actually allows you to learn a bit in an interactive way. So I need to because I'm learning by talking, by writing, and I when I write to ChatGPT, then it's like my thinking process is
Yeah.
going on, and the chat like sometimes like hallucinate a bit, and
Yeah.
it's like okay, that's not. I don't think it's right, and like it allows me to actually rethink stuff. So yeah, very very interesting use case. I find it the most powerful for logic for learning to me. Uh, but I also use it like many of us like for generating some kind of basic content and like actually laying the groundwork work that I can review and then reuse and that adds to my personal touch to it. Yeah, so this is great. You work with ads for over 8 years, as far as I know, and right now you're on a VP position, but your career started as a engineer, as an individual contributor. And if you could tell us a bit more about your path, how does your career look like, and maybe we can move into like some, what was the game changer in your career, something like that.
Sure. Sure. I was early on, even I was growing up, I was fascinated with advertising, but I couldn't find a path of getting into the advertising industry at that point of time.
Hmm.
And however, I was very interested in building things, putting things together, so I chose engineering. And I did my undergraduate studies in engineering in India, and then I went to the US to pursue my graduate studies in computer engineering as well. And after I graduated, I joined an AI startup, which was focused on building knowledge representation systems for the retail industry, like inference engines and knowledge representation systems. And now the AI back then was very different. It was before machine learning,
Yeah.
and but after years of working there, and then getting into the e-commerce space as well, I got an opportunity to work in the advertising industry at Yahoo back
Hmm.
then. And that was I jumped on that opportunity because I could see, hey, it's something as an intersection of my interests. I was interested in computers, building up computer engineering, and this was advertising, and ad tech was like the perfect intersection of those two fields. And from that point onwards, for close to a decade right now, I've been in the ad tech space with Samsung Ads, building that, and then now at Zalando, leading the Zalando marketing services team, building the ads. So that's how my journey started and how it evolved.
Okay, like, it sounds like a very good synergy actually, technology with advertising, meaning ad tech. That makes total sense. Uh, but you started as an individual contributor, and then you were a leader, a manager. Now you're a vice president. That's like a very nice career path. But you built a lot of different teams during your career, as I assume. What would be your advice for building like this inclusive culture for like having a great team? I would say.
Yeah, good question. I'm a true believer that we are best when we actively seek diversity and inclusion. Why diversity and inclusion to me is not just about gender or a few other parameters. It's about people with different backgrounds and belief systems. And to me, it's not just being, say, socially correct or morally correct by being inclusive. It also makes business sense to actually being inclusive. And the best decisions I have made in my career at work have not been me sitting in a corner thinking about everything and coming up with these ideas. It's been with engaging with a discussion with group of people with their very different perspectives on ideas, challenging thoughts, coming up with different opinions, coming up with a common understanding.
Hmm.
And that's possible only when you have a diverse team. And now once you have that diverse team, how do you build that culture is you build a vision and a mission that is clearly articulated, and you have that diverse set of team. Just communicate that regularly throughout the organization and then drive it. And with that, that's how I see tech innovations happening. With the engineers have a clear purpose to where the group is going. They have avenues to actually come and innovate. So that's where I see
Hmm. Hmm.
being an inclusive company culture there.
Yeah, definitely. I I've used the term great team in my previous question, and definitely the inclusive, diverse team is a some way it is a great beginning. Uh, but I think I would love to understand what does it mean to you to have a great team, to build a great team, and what would be the most important aspect that makes the team great, actually.
When I One aspect I look at what makes a team great is when I see people across roles and levels in the organization. So it's right in the everybody understand the mission and where we are going, and they feel empowered to make a difference. I
Hmm.
think that's I would say the key, and that's why I would say what is a great team, right? And how do we make that happen? I've always been my thing. Okay, how do we get that? How do we make that happen? And first is it starts with the vision, right? How do we have set up a clear vision for where we want this team to go? We have an accompanying mission there. Does the team feel the trust? Trust among themselves, trust with the leadership, by being honest and transparent. And where also people feel that it is okay to try something new and fail. And we are in the, at a lot of times in a lot of industries where failure is criticized, and you say, hey, this is something we did wrong, this is a mistake, which I have a different perspective on this. Now, yes, if something is known and we don't look at that and you failed, yes, that's wrong. But if we try something new and we fail, that's a learning, you know.
Exactly.
And in the industry we are in, like in the consumer tech industry, now if the I don't see the biggest risk as something, a systems failing or something like that, because fortunately we are not, let's say, like in the medical industry where a failure could actually endanger people's lives, where our failures don't really, it has an impact, but it's not that real. So a biggest risk I see is not trying something and not capitalizing on an opportunity. That's the biggest risk. And only if people are feel that they can actually try something new and fail, that's when they will actually go after these new opportunities.
Yeah, definitely missed opportunities is it's the biggest risk because you want to innovate constantly, I would say, or at least experiment. This is also like this enablement and empowerment to experiment, and not to be afraid of failing, and not to be even afraid of starting to think differently. Is super empowering, and it's a very, very great trait. And this is, in my opinion, what makes the teams great. So if, as you said, if you know the vision, and if this vision is understood in like very same way within the team, uh, people can actually, being empowered, people can actually act on their own and like think creatively. And we set up the constraints in the way where they are
Yeah,
not limited by them, but more empowered by narrowing the focus maybe. And but you can think creatively. And what you said about learning and not like failing, but learning from it, this is super
yeah,
important. Where is the problem starting to show up is where you fail in the same manner over and over again, and like you're not learning, then you're not concluding from your mistakes. Then it becomes a problem, but it's still something that someone can like recover personally, or as a smaller team, as an entire team.
that's correct.
That you can recover from it. That's no problem. But actually, I like inspiring with the vision, and empowering as a cultural norm, I would say, is something that makes the teams great. Most definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. Uh, so we mentioned that you're working with advertisement or ad tech. I think we owe the audience to actually explain what ad tech means, because it's like right now we know that there's an ads and there's some kind of technology that's behind that, but what does it mean and how does it work? And if you could just explain briefly, that would be great.
Sure. Now, ads are a great way to tell a story. So
Mhm.
I believe it's one of the best storytelling experiences. So how can we help brands tell their story to consumers in a way that the consumers would love? That's what is it's advertising, and the technology that enables you to provide the right ads to the right users at the right time at scale. That's what is ad tech is about. um, you know
Mhm.
and yeah, it's, if you look at Zalando as well, maybe I can go into Zalando of what we do in the ad space as well.
Mhm.
And at if you look at Zalando, we're a fashion e-commerce company, and consumers and the consumer experience is at the core of what we do. You know? As a shopper, I want to be able to discover new products, new brands, and now I'm looking for fashion inspiration. That's why, as a shopper now, advertising provides an opportunity for partners who sell on the platform to reach the consumers at the various points in their shopping journey. Like when they land on the homepage, they go into the
Hmm.
category, they're looking for a particular products, and that's what it helps. And at Tech, my team at Zalando, we create unique storytelling experiences that provide these branding opportunities to increase the brand awareness and the engagement with. So that's what in a nutshell what
Hmm.
ad tech is. But yeah, and we also connect. If you look at what we do, we connect brands with influencers also, who can provide the engaging content as well as drive traffic from their, say, social media channels into Zalando, and which helps in the purchases.
Yeah, I mean, it is like the entire experience and with like with the brand with Zalando here, uh, have some starting point, as you said, and like you can make the story more appealing with ads, and because sometimes I see people like think about ads as a simple, like, something shows up on the website and someone paid for it, and like it's like an image with a price and that's it. It's actually more. It's as you said, it's a great way to tell the story, and with I think with the technology, it's just way better. It's just much more powerful and valuable for the customers. So it's not like a simple irrelevant advertisement. It's something that you resonate with, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's with the if you look at the ads, we drive consumer inspiration and brand discovery, and which is when I say brands, it's the brands who sell on our platform as well, and we help in discovering of their ads. So this in turn attracts more partners, which is brands who can tell their stories to the audience, and increase in higher quality of the partners with their most desire, like their, say, most desirable assortment, and which in turn increases the number of consumers who like to come on the platform because they see their favorite assortments there. And with more customers and with with higher sales, we can invest that into a better consumer experience thereby. So the ads, it actually works as a flywheel for a company like Zalando as well, so
Hmm.
which helps
Hmm.
accelerate the growth.
Yes, exactly. Uh, but we know that the things are not that simple. And I wanted to ask you, what's your maybe current, or what's your biggest challenge with building the business, or the ads business, basically at Zalando?
So there were many, but let me pick one. Right? At Now, at Zalando, ads are part of the actual shopping experience itself, like unlike other media channels. So like they're not a distraction, you have to put up with. It's a great opportunity, but it's also challenging. So we have to evaluate the opportunity cost of showing an ad versus showing some other content that could be more engaging and useful to the user. Now, a challenge is how do we build a customer lifetime, say, value prediction model that takes into account all the signals, factors in
Hmm.
sales, returns, revenue from ads, and is used as objective function to determine the kind of content to be shown on the platform. So that's, I would say, was the is the one of the bigger challenges, and we are working on it.
Uh, super great. Since you mentioned AI, and this is like I think the main point of this of our conversation. Um, how do you actually use AI with when building this ad experience for your customers? You mentioned a couple of things, but if you could elaborate on that and like focus on AI a bit, I'm very curious about that.
Sure. In the ad tech industry, the AI is no longer nice to have. The ability to select the right ad for the right user in the shopping journey is important because the user's tolerance to ads is pretty low. So our applied science team is constantly looking and like building new user response models. Now using our customer understanding, product and brand understanding, and and modeling the relationships between them. And now we launched a new just last month we launched a new deep neural network architecture to predict the likelihood of a consumer clicking and buying the product. And now we saw close to a double digit improvement compared to previous prediction models.
Mm-hmm.
And this translates to a great customer experience as well, because more people are interested in what they're seeing. That's, I would say, that's one. The other, what we are also looking at is to building like brand affinity models, and how can we predict um, which person would be interested in which brands, is like in terms of the affinity on who would likely be interested in certain brands based on their the signals that we have. So these are some things that what we are doing that could actually build on to the ad experience as well, using AI for the ad experiences.
Mm-hmm. And since AI is like, I would say, on the wave right now, it's like everyone talks about it. At Zalando, you apply AI or build your own like machine learning models and apply those. I think for a couple of years, but I wanted to ask you about the future because like everyone like right now contemplates how AI will change the world and what will be the impact, how we can benefit, or what are the downsides or those kind of things. But my question would be how actually AI can help you as a leader of ad tech at Zalando in the future, and we can like think about a year or two or whatever the time span you wish, but like how AI can basically help you.
Yeah. So some of the areas where AI will be really helpful, or it is also now, but even more in the future, is to how do we find audiences? How do we find customer audiences that we know are in a particular um, uh, shopping stage in their shopping journey that could actually be influenced? That's one. How can um, we provide insights to partners? Why did How can we really understand using causal inference? If we know people interact with the ads, can we also understand why and use that to model to build better ad experiences? So that's something that I think is will be very important in the future.
Hmm.
And if you look at the wave of generative AI going on, and I can also see in this space, um, AI is now generating content, which is text, images, audio, and video, and that's what's happening here. So the cost of content creation will go down dramatically. And
Hmm.
if you apply the principles of economics, when the cost of something goes down, people will use more of it, and it will get widely adopted. So in marketing, I can see the ad copy, which is the text, and the creatives being generated by AI at some point, and it'll be more localized, more tuned to audience preferences. Now,
Hmm.
at the same time, there is a risk also of this generated content becoming vanilla and everything looking the same, because everything is machine generated and it looks the same. And that's where you have to figure out how do you differentiate, how, and maybe the human generated images could make a difference, or how can these models really stand up to not being everything looking the same. So I would say those are some challenges I can see there with AI as well.
Yeah, you mentioned a very interesting topic because a lot of people says that AI will result in job losses, for example. And I think like, and especially in content creation, this can be like very clearly see that you won't be just typing. You will type a prompt and then you will get some nice content, maybe review it, adjust it, but you won't be spending time writing the copy yourself that much. But I think what you mentioned is actually very interesting because it moves your time by writing the copy to your time thinking about how to be more creative because there's more content there, but there's the same limited time for your customers to actually consume the content basically and see it, read it, like watch the video and so on. So you need to be more creative, and that's where the focus will shift, not the creation of the content, but the quality of the content. So I think it's a very clear win-win for people who write the content and for people who consumes the content, where it just benefits everyone, basically.
Absolutely.
Great. We talk about the future of AI in AdTech, but I also wanted to take a bigger picture for a second and like focus on e-commerce in general and how AI can influence e-commerce. And do you have your own like maybe vision, idea, or maybe wishes about the future of e-commerce and how AI will influence it?
Yeah, in e-commerce, at least if I'm looking at the say fashion e-commerce industry, it could be applied for other e-commerce as well. Inspiration is so important, and these experiences to be really stand out, make it immersive experience. So I would like to see more immersive experiences, the shopping experiences, like for
Mm-hmm.
for products, um, short videos, interactive videos. Those are something maybe traditionally the cost of creation of those videos was so high, and so for every product that you actually go and see, that was not but now with the advances, could that mean that? And I think that'll be a great experience to see videos for all of the products there. So I think that's something that is I would really like to see more of.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part in the e-commerce shopping journey is also convenience, and the convenience of shipping. For example, the next day shipping is going to become a norm. Right now there's still it's still not many. So how, and it's not that easy to actually change, and how logistic centers and how say drone technologies can actually help and uh, enable that last mile delivery. I think that will be a big
Mm-hmm.
innovation coming for modern e-commerce.
Yeah, and we see when you mentioned the drones, I immediately thought that we see this for years actually. Like Amazon had this dedicated event about drones delivering stuff, uh, but actually it's like super complex problem, especially in more cities, urban areas where there's like so many obstacles, so many problems, and everything moves. And like, so it's not that easy to just send drone. It seems to be very obvious, but at the end, it appears that the amount of investment and amount of problems that you encounter makes it actually hard to beat a regular person on a bike or in a simple van truck delivering your packages. But yeah, it's definitely an opportunity to take, and I totally agree that this is something that will have an impact in the future, definitely. Um, if I may share my personal thoughts is my personal thought is that especially for companies like Zalando, there's like huge opportunity to like relate to the customers more in the shopping journey. So building the trust, like educating about the products, letting people explore the product, one single product more, like maybe virtually trying on those clothes, those kind of things that will build the trust. Hence, it will build the loyalty because you will have a reason to come back and you will know that this experience was super positive. You were disappointed and the amount of disappointment will decrease. Hence, the returns will decrease. is like, another flywheel that is worth exploring.
Yep.
And I know you're doing it. I I saw some concepts, so this is great. Coming back to the future a bit, and one single feature that you think that will be, or you dream about, that should be in a modern e-commerce, on a modern e-commerce website, or in the modern e-commerce experience in general, what would that be?
All right. Um, I think what I would like is going along with my immersive experience, using a lot more video, but more using augmented reality. I would like to see how it fits. If I
Hmm.
would say in a shopping experience, how does it look on me? How does it,
Yeah,
like trying it on? And I would like to see more of that. And there are technologies that are have made some inroads there, but I don't think it's to the point where they are truly inspirational. And I would like to see more, uh, virtual reality, augmented reality, how you can actually try on your clothes there before actually making the purchase. And that, I think, would be a big win for, as a consumer. One, because I'm sure how it will fit me, and also for the platform on the return rates, because the return rates will
exactly.
be
Yeah.
significantly lower as well. So, yeah, that's something I would like to see.
Me too, definitely. There are a couple of challenges, like for example, the devices today are very good and like enable a lot of AR applications, but still the quality of the models you need to use needs to be like, it needs to look very neatly, and it's like this is one, at least one challenge I can see right now. Okay, I think we have a question from the audience, and let me just read it out loud. So, where do you see the shift in cooperation between people and AI? How do you see us working on developing products using AI solutions?
Interesting question. Now, I think some of it, right, like we covered in our discussion, right, is
Hmm.
I look at, and some people equate AI as taking away jobs, and but I totally see it as people would become better at doing different skills. If what they were doing today is actually now AI can do it, people will actually improve and they will do better. So, and if I draw parallels to the manufacturing industry, if you look at overall, okay, um, in the US a couple of decades ago, a lot of the manufacturing jobs were actually moved out of the US. But that doesn't mean US as the economy didn't evolve. People actually transformed into doing other things. There is, so I see about AI is a similar way, where people could actually use AI, and they would build even better products, and there would be an even new line of jobs that are created. So
Yeah,
that's how I see it. And so, Radek, you can draw your thoughts as well.
yeah, absolutely, I agree. It seems like you're like companies are spending a lot of money to build AI to substitute people. What actually happens is, in my opinion, actually, that it will substitute the tasks people are doing, but it will free up the money from the cost savings to actually open new positions, open new opportunities. And sure, this is like super uncomfortable for people or unsettling even, because from like month to month they can sort of lose their job, but they will need to adapt to the new situation. So it is uncomfortable, and it seems like a bad thing, because you're becoming vulnerable. But in the long run, you will be doing much more valuable work. You will have much more impact. You will be much more satisfied with the results you're getting. everyone wins on that. So this is my take. All right. Thank you, Dinesh, so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all the insights and sharing your experiences and your knowledge. For everyone who still listen to us, I invite you to a one-day online conference that's called Disruption Forum, and it's about generative AI, and it happens today. So I think the link should pop up in the comments in a second. And I encourage you and invite you to just sign up, get your virtual seat, and see you later on the conference. Thank you once more, Dinesh.
Thank you. Thanks for having me
Thank
here,
you very
Rick.
much.
Thank you all to the audience.
Thank you very much.